We're Barclays Type It. This is our team, consisting of me, Lewis, Normans, Megan, Michael, Jack, and Jamie. Hope you like it.
Our scenario was to make a technology proposal that would help organisations like Barclays reduce their carbon footprint and support the environment. We have came up with an idea to fix the issue of our carbon footprint, as well as improve money management, money security, and efficiency. Our idea is an app that will offer an alternative to a credit card. Our app will be called Type It. With this app, your phone will act as a credit card. You will put all your bank details into this app. When you first open the app, you will be asked to put your finger on a scanner, which will take your fingerprint. Then, this will randomly generate a 4-digit code, which you can then type into the ATM, and then you can access your bank account. The issue is our carbon footprint. Big banking companies like Barclays are producing a lot of CO2 when making things, such as credit and debit cards. They want to reduce CO2 levels to help the environment, and our app will help them just do this.
Our solution will be a lot cheaper for Barclays because they don't have to spend as much money as they would have to when producing cards. It will increase the security of customers because it will need your fingerprint to access your account. It is also fairly to use and it's reducing CO2, which is good for the environment and for Barclays. When you click on the app, you will need to hold your thumb on the fingerprint reader and the app will open. This will improve the security of your account because no one will be able to access your account if they don't have your fingerprint. It will also reduce your carbon footprint because we won't need to make credit cards anymore for the people with new generation phones. Once your phone is recognized, you will enter a PIN and then be able to access your account at the ATM and withdraw money. It will benefit the people who have new smartphones. This will benefit them because their account security will be increased. This app will also help them because if they have their credit at home, they have their phones. Saving. We did some research and found out that Barclays has over 48 million customers worldwide. If a card costs 10p to produce, we found out Barclays have spent 480,000 to make them all cards. This doesn't count for when they need to be replaced. So we worked out that for every 100,000 new customers, Barclays will save £1,000 in the production of credit cards. If we include the existing customers that would switch to our app, Barclays would save more money in the future.
We believe our app will take 6 to 8 months to develop. We know this because we compared it to how long it took to produce Ping It. We looked at salaries for software developers, and it is roughly £40,000 over 7 months. This app would also need an IT analyst to check everything is secure and updated. We also looked at salaries for IT analysts, and it is estimated £30,000 per year. We think we'll need 2 developers and 1 analyst.
Why you should pick us? We believe you should pick us because we have a futuristic product that reduces CO2 emissions in the atmosphere. It's very secure and is a very good alternative solution to credit and debit cards for Barclays. To conclude, our app is an alternative to credit cards. It's more secure because it requires your fingerprint if you're using an iPhone 6 or 5. It saves a lot of money for Barclays in the long run and also reduces their carbon footprint. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, so I have loads of questions on this one.
Good.
Great idea. A couple of things. Really great job. You listened to feedback from Julian about moving forward. Don't move back now. Move forward. Well done. First, I really love your PowerPoint presentation. I'm a sucker for PowerPoint, so well done on that, guys. Really, it looks sharp. There are things that I would pick up for my team around font sizes, so creating consistency, but that's just because I do PowerPoint and my team does every day, so I have an eye for it, but really well done. It looked really nice. Okay, so the actual product. So your idea is that with a smartphone, you then have a thumbprint, and the thumbprint will also be used on the ATM, correct?
Yeah, and we thought that for old generation phones, like people that don't really know how to use the new generation, you could actually just do it with just a pin. Just put the pin in, and you won't need a touchscreen.
Okay. And the objective of having the thumbprint is that then we get rid of debit and credit cards.
Yes.
Okay, so when you go to a retailer, like John Lewis, how would you pay for things?
Would you use similar with say when you go and buy stuff, you put your card in and you enter your PIN. It'd be similar to that, but our idea, I'm not sure if it was fully explained, but that when you actually access your account on your phone, it'll give you a 4-digit code, so you can put that in and it'll sort of access your account straight away. So it would be like an authentication code, which means that you wouldn't actually have to use your card. You'd be able to still use the PIN machine.
So would you develop the technology that retailers could then use for their own PIN pads that would allow you to not enter a card but just enter the PIN?
Yes, that would probably.
Okay. Have you factored that into your financials then?
Not 100%. We did it mostly for ATMs, and we didn't really go into sort of the retailer part of it, just sort of accessing your account on the go and very easily and quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Just as an aside, Barclays is quite innovative, and one of the things that they created, or we created a couple of years ago, is contactless, which of course you can use all over the place. So, but it took several years to develop that, and retailers still don't even use it. So in your processing and in your thinking about this and getting this off the ground, you might want to think about all elements of technology that you would need to make this happen, and what else you would need to do. So the idea works well for ATMs, but of course people use credit and debit cards at retailers, hotels, airports, everywhere in the world you need a credit and debit card. So, or most places in the world. So just thinking about taking that into consideration when you're putting a product idea forward, that there's other things that probably need to be thought about in there. But I really like your idea of the fact that Barclays could reduce its CO2 emissions, which is a concern of ours and part of our citizenship plan, by reducing the reduction of credit and debit cards. So overall the idea is good. I think you just need a bit more work into how you could actually make that happen, make that into a reality.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I agree. I also think a good idea in all of the projects that I've worked on, I work in the innovative area. I don't think we're working on a project at the moment looking at replacing debit cards in the way that you've done here. So we are looking at embedding chips, but we've not looked. We are looking at fingerprint technology, but we're using that to ID and V yourself, so identify yourself rather than to access services. So I do think it's a very clever idea. And as Kathleen said, you could go wild with this. So going one step at a time is great, and using it for ATMs as your first platform is a good idea. Although you've not developed the ideas yet, there would be no harm in throwing in all of your other ideas. So the shops could develop the technology as well. And so you could just go and scan your thumbprint to pay for things in shops and throw in those ideas. We are looking at thumbprints, and we are looking at it through Pingit. So where you're looking at using the apps to validate your thumbprint, we're looking at the apps to pay for things. So instead of typing a code in, you would actually use your thumbprint to identify yourself. So so you're on very similar lines to us. So well done for that. There was a couple of things in there. So I did like your development timelines of around 7 months. We actually developed Pingit in 3 months. That was our target for that, but we developed it in stages. So did you consider that? So did you consider how you would launch this, or is it we will build it and launch it?
It was more of a we will build it and launch it, because I know, especially with Pingit, it sort of went out across in sort of stages. So a few, it was like small and started going larger. We thought that if we made it and put it out there, a lot of people would be able to change very quickly.
We would probably make like a beta version to go out first, and actually mark it as a beta, so everyone knows it's just the first version out there. So
yeah, definitely the thing to do. So we had two. Well, we actually had what we would call an alpha version and a beta version. So there was a group of about 20 of us from within the programme team who had it on our phones for a week and attempted to kill it, really went for it. And then we extended that out to a beta version for 1,000 members of staff so that we could get their feedback, so that when it went out onto our unsuspecting public and we could take the world by storm, which this would do, we knew that enough people had tried to break it that we could be confident that when it went out to our customers it was good.
Sorry, to conclude, when we put the fingerprint on, there's going to be there could be a security as well, for in case when you put your fingerprint on, there'll be like a PIN code you put it in for your security, so no one really.
As an extra layer of security, let's try and get to.
And in case you forget to take your hands out shopping with you. Yeah. You mentioned in their use of smartphones to gather the thumbprints, and you mentioned the number of smartphones that are out there. How many smartphones are actually fingerprint capable?
I know that the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 6 is currently, so I think the iPhone 6 sold 3 million worldwide on the very first day, I think it was. So there is quite a lot of iPhone users that are using it currently, but I believe that in the future, a lot of other ones, say like Android phones and like Motorola's and different phones like that will probably opt into the security with your fingerprint, because I think it's quite a large leap forward in technology.
Yeah, I'd say that's something to think about. So obviously they sold that number worldwide, but you've got to narrow that down to the UK and then narrow that down to Barclays. So we would probably be looking at a fairly small percentage who will have that technology at the moment. There are other ways of solving that problem. We could put scanners into our branches, or we've got scanners on. We're going to put scanners onto the ATMs. So maybe the ATM is a way of people recording their thumbprint with us as well. So think about those things. You've potentially got a better business case. So you've assumed every Barclays customer has one card. In my purse, I've got 5 Barclays cards. So you've potentially got a better business case. So I think that's something else to have a look at as well. As we said earlier as well, I would consider going further than the ATM. So ATM is great as a first step. We own all that technology. It's ours. We can manage it. We can talk to our suppliers about how we provide the fingerprint scanners. But you also ought to build into there your future phases. So where could we go next, and how can we build on that?
Okay.
The idea, like, you could actually, well, when people would hear of it, I think they would quite like get into it, like try it, see what it is, because it's like technology, like, don't know how to say that. Looking for the word here. Technological, something like that. Sorry.
Technological?
Yeah, that's the word.
I'm American, I can translate.
Okay.
I just wanted to add one more comment, if I may, Julian, before we open it up to the room. I think all great ideas, particularly around technology, start from little nuggets. So I think there's something actually here, which is really, really interesting. And I think what it showed to me in this presentation is that you thought, well, you must have heard about thumbprint or fingerprint technology before. You've just rattled off the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 6 has that technology. As an aside, I have no idea how to use it, and I have one. So it is something to think about when you're doing these, when you're going through these sorts of technologies. But I think all great ideas come from that little, like, I think we could do something, but I don't really know. And one of the things we try to really work hard at Barclays is what we call entrepreneurs. So these are entrepreneurs that are internal to our business, people that are coming up with fresh and new ideas, like Angela and her team, that are far smarter and far more creative than people like me, who is just a banker. So I think it's really exciting what you've put forward for us. I think there's so many different ways that you could go with this. I think the thinking across the group is really interesting. And I would encourage you to develop that thought even further. So you had, 6-8 weeks to do this. Just keep thinking about these things, and when ideas don't work, throw them out again and start again. So just keep churning that, because I think it's quite interesting and creative. So well done on that.
And I've got one last question, because you've got quite an unusual name. So where did the name Type IT come
It wasn't meant to be Type IT, it's meant to just be Type It as like the name of the thing, but I think it just sort of messed up on the way around.
That's still fine. Where did Type It come from?
I don't know, it's just sort of a random idea that came up because you type on your phone, so we just sort of type it. It wasn't quite a stressful thing to think about.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's good, thank you.
Very good. All right. Any questions at all from the team here? Oh, wow. Okay.
God.
So, Rob?
So, first of all, really good idea. I think a very good presentation, so well done. In Barclays, one thing we have to consider when we develop products is around the inclusion and diversity of our customer base. So, had you considered the impact of this on people who have disabilities?
So the
Yeah.
question, I just need to relay the question because it won't get picked up on the tape. So I think the question was about consideration about people with disabilities, Rob, and how that would work with your product.
Yeah, that was mostly our drive for not using the thumbprint for everyone, so for using the pin as well. So say if someone does have a disability, maybe don't have both hands, or in some sort of way they can use other things that are in our app, such as the pin code, to be able to access it for everyone.
If we even went a bit further than that, when we get to know it and stuff, you could actually try to do a voice recognition, so you would say it. That's just the idea just went in my head. Sorry.
All right. Okay, Rob. And I think we had a couple of questions at the back. Yeah, the guy that's nearest to me with the glasses first. Yeah. How are you going to make a profit?
We will make profit by. Can I have
I
some
think
help,
it'd be
please?
mostly from the savings that we get from the cards. The money that we get back would be the money that we save.
Can I add something into that? Where you're gonna make money is by developing this product and selling it to a Barclays, selling it to RBS, selling it to Lloyd's. So sorry, I'm going to answer that question for you.
Thank
You will
you.
make
Thank
money
you.
by selling your product.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that. I'm thinking of offering them
And
a
not
job.
just,
Okay,
and not
sorry.
just the Barclays,
Or
right?
you just come and work for us, and then we'll pay you salaries. That's how you make money.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you either work as an independent software developer, as a company, and you sell the product to companies like Barclays and Lloyd's if they ever were that way inclined. Barclays is the most innovative, of course.
Yeah, when they catch us up. Yeah.
Or you come and work for us. So we then own the idea because you're on the payroll, and therefore it's not about making profit because, at the end of the day, we don't charge Pingit. We don't charge retail customers for using Pingit, nor do we charge them for using the ATMs. So therefore, to be able to provide service to your customers, you have to accept a loss in terms of running some of those services. Otherwise, they'll take the business elsewhere. You don't have a business anyway. So it's almost an enabler as opposed to making money as such.
I will let you in on a secret in that Barclays ATMs cost Barclays an absolute fortune a year, multi-million-pound loss a year to provide our ATMs to customers. But our customers want to be able to withdraw cash wherever they are, which may not be where we've got a branch. So we happily provide that service because it encourages people to bank for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And your question?
I know my grandparents don't have a smartphone. What if you won't have one? Then you won't be able to get there.
If you won't have one, you'll have a pin. You can just put a pin code in, like Lewis said, and you won't need a smartphone for that.
Okay. And go on. Two more questions, and then we'll have to move on.
You said that you'll just get a pin, but what happens if, anyone just won't put a pin in and can't just access?
So what happens if somebody doesn't use a PIN? Is that right?
Yes, if you don't have a thumbprint because you don't have a phone,
Yes.
then you'll have to put in a pin.
Yes.
So can't anyone just go and put a random pin in?
Oh, can somebody else put a random PIN in to be able to process a transaction?
Well, for security, if you put 3 times a wrong pin in, that will automatically disable it, and you will have to obviously ring up to enable it again because it's like security and.
Well, because it's only a 4-digit number, then isn't it going to be? And then you've got how many customers? 48 million.
Yeah.
So then it's likely that someone's going to have one more pins that you can just type in.
For all the generation phones, it might be not even 4-digit, it might be even more than that.
I think the combination of, sorry, I'm going to answer again. I think the combination of 4 numbers, the random, I'm not sure, I think there's probably far more combinations of 4-digit pins than the number of people that have account, would be my guess.
Yeah.
I'm not a mathematician, but if I do, maybe we could start that. Somebody could start for the next few hours and write down the combinations of every single pin they can think of.
Maybe we take a good tip. He's raised a good question.
He
so
has.
You can say,
Yes.
you've raised a good question. I'll come and talk to you offline about it. That's what we do in business a lot. You tell him that, and then you don't have to come up with the answer just now. All right? So that's a good tip to use. Yeah.
Security is
Go
a
on.
huge factor, so it's good that you're thinking about the security of the app, and that's something that you would do through the development process, is figure out your security. So very good question.
Absolutely. Okay. Final question.
What do you do if your phone's also charged, but you need to pay for something, but your phone's not?
So if your phone's run out of battery, which can happen, how do you pay for the goods? How do you
Well,
get the money?
you're not going to you're not going to still throw the credit cards out because the phone, the app, is just an emergency. So basically, if you leave your card at home or something, it's just like second hand or something.
Oh, so
It's
this isn't a
basically-
replacement, it's just a backup. Is that what you're saying? So people are still going to
It
carry
can-
the debit cards.
Lucy, answer that, please.
Go on, your answer.
It was meant to be a replacement, not a
Yeah,
backup.
yeah.
But if your phone does run out, that is a concern. So I guess we could think of other ways to do that, but we haven't sort of focused on that right now.
Right answer. You'll take it away and think about it. Absolutely. That's right. Okay.
Don't contradict.
All right. I think you must have had about 58 questions there. So well done for taking all those questions. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, a really good